There, viewers, and welcome back to the South Main Auto Channel. That's the 2007. It's the Dodge Nitro. I don't know what engine's in it. It's the big 3.7 according to the plastic. And it's got some messed up lights. Probably a bad ground because it's a Dodge, so let's get after it. Turn that little guy off. And he writes, Dear Eric, lighting issues. Front right turn signal works unless the headlight switches on. Left front marker light does not work. Lamps have been put into other sockets and they do work. Friend mentioned a brake light out recently also. Seems to be right rear. That could be a lamp. Don't know, question mark. Appreciate the help. Thanks a bunch. Love always. B. So we've got a right front turn signal, works unless headlight switches on, and left front marker light that does not work. So let's go verify all of this. Put the key back in here and let's go see. That's the left front marker. Oh, the right front marker doesn't work. The left front appears to work. I don't know if there's supposed to be one up there or not. There is, because that, oh, I see what he's talking about. So this left front upper marker. I wonder if that's a bulb. I did print us out some diagrams because I assumed we were going to need them. And then just for grins and giggles here. Oops, I didn't turn the key on, did I? So that is our left turn. Looks like somebody's been doing some LED upgrades. So that one's blinking. And then we'll turn off the marker lights. We'll do the right turning signal. We don't have to walk up there. We can see it flickering off the toolbox. Okay. And then we'll turn the headlights on, or the marker lights on, because I assume it goes out then. And that is correct. So it was blinking, providing the headlights are off. So we shut the headlights off, and then that blinker starts to blinking. Correct. So it's your classic symptoms for no ground, because currently, no pun intended, it is grounding through something else. Before I went home yesterday, or went to the dentist rather, I grabbed us these. So this is our diagrams here. I think it's every diagram we're going to need. Right front marker. We get our signal, which we know is good because it lights, and then it comes down to this ground. What is it? G, can't read it, 108 I believe it is. So then we want to know where G108 is, so we get out the locator here, and 108 is right here. So this is the driver's side of the vehicle. This is almost to the front bumper, G108, so this is like down under the battery somewheres in that area. And then what else runs on G108? That's a good question. So I printed this out a diagram for G107 because that makes sense. Which that park, left front park, left turn front. That's interesting because on here it shows G107. On here, if I read the correct side, left front, that's right front. We want right front. So all the left stuff, the left, I'm confusing myself now. So it looks like the left stuff works off G107 and the right stuff works off G108. Well, that's good news for us because even though I did print the incorrect diagram, G107 and G108 appear to be double stacked right up on top of each other. I suppose we can go get the right diagram for G108 to see if this all makes sense, but it should. And I'm curious to know about this marker light. Perhaps that one's a bad ground, or perhaps it's a bad bulb, but he did say he checked the bulbs. And we typically don't believe our customers, but this time we're gonna. Let's check here. G108 is what we wanted, wiring diagrams, and let's see, we want accept export. So let's see who runs off G108, right? Because that was right front, and that's what we want, G108. Well, we know where that's at, you ding dong. I think it's kind of irrelevant, isn't it, at this point? Okay, here we go. So G108, which is right here. So there's a ton of stuff that runs on that, including but not limited to right front turn lamp, right front park light, and whatever this is up here, the other park turn right front, and then a whole bunch of other stuff here. You can see all comes down to this G108. Even though you can't read it all, just trust me, there's a lot of crap, but it all includes everything on the right front. So we're back to where we were, which was this ground here, G107, G108. I did a little poking under the hood to see if I could see this little sucker. I think it's right behind this cover. Right up here, back in there. Let me get a light. And people are, why are we going straight for the ground? Because of pattern failures, folks. The worst mistake you can get caught up in. So you're either watch me succeed or watch me burn, one or the other. But I thought I saw it from up to, oh, nasty. Thought I saw her from up top. She looked pretty gross. And it looks super gross. Let me see if I can show you here. It's not looking good. And this is a really bad habit to get into. Like we've seen and you guys have seen on my channel, so many bad eyelets on the grounds of Dodges with these exact same symptoms. Should we go to the light and test it? Absolutely we should. This is a, you know, do as I say, not as I do video. Enhance. So we can see that eyelet. She's looking gross. And we know that's G107 and G108 that there's going to be a bunch of wires that are going to pull out of that eyelet. And I'm thinking we're going to fix the problem by fixing those. I don't know if this is going to cooperate with us here. It's pretty crusty. Excuse me, I've got to actually see what I'm doing. Oh boy, I think it just went from a 10 to not a 10 pretty quick. Just trying to knock some of the rust off of here. Definitely not a 10 mm anymore. Yuck, I'm not so sure we're going to get that one out, folks. It's got this metal plate there right up above it that houses the ABS, or yeah, the ABS sensor, the airbag sensor, one of them. Everything here's pretty rusty. I wonder if we're going to have to do like a G107, G108 relocation. It's a classic move. All the pros are doing it. Let me go grab something and try. I think we're meddling with things that ought not be meddling in. I tried getting that 8 mil up there. This bolt just keeps disappearing. There's really not much left to the head of it. Oops, those wires all just broke. So these, I just pulled on those. Those are 4 wires there that just turned to dust. Give these ones a little tug here. These might be a little more stout. These have a lot more going for them here in this connector. I'm gonna see if we can't just reach up in there and just chop it off. What do you want me to do? Chop it off? So I'm always telling Mrs. O. Come on, motherfuckers. It's got a big old. There you go, fella. That's what I'm talking about, boys. Hopefully that was the right harness. Appears to be. Let's get this thing down where a fella can look at it. Oh man, what a nasty mess. These ones here were nasty because these ones we just touched and they fell apart. So super duper common Chrysler problem. Anybody who's watched our channel for long enough, this will cause problems from everything from like O2 sensors to lights to radiator fans to you name it. Chrysler is infamous for taking all of their grounds and smashing them all into one little place, and then everything turns green and crusty. And they put them in some really obscure spots sometimes. Some way worse than these. So it has always been our habit to take and put multiple eyelets on and then stick them somewhere where it's good and where we can get back on it. We're obviously not going to go back in this hole because that bolt is rusted right off to nothing. I don't know if under the hood, if we can pull this up in that direction and get it to a little easier spot. Because I'm thinking right here, A isn't a great spot, and B, we ain't getting up in that joint again. There is another little nut right here that we could always run a tap through and stick a bolt through, but that's still kind of awkward. I say we fix it right here because it's easy and convenient. And then we go up under the hood and see if we can't move it somewhere. While we're right here, some of the ends of these wires are pretty crusty. I'm going to take and give them a little trim. And I'm going to get some eyelets. I'm going to get after it. And it's a pretty simple process we do here, folks. We strip everything back. Of course, you'd have to go back 6-7 inches to get to bright, shiny copper. So we're not going to do that just because it's prohibitive. And honestly, I've done this lots of times and never had any bad repercussions here from it. Use some non-insulated terminals. I'm going to give it the good old crimp, maybe a couple of crimps down to the side here to make sure she's holding on tight. Straighten her up, then we're going to come through, boop, dab of solder on each one. And I just take and I put as many that will fit in, you know, like a 10-12 gauge holder or a 10-12 gauge eyelet here. So usually several of the wires, you know, 3 in each one or so. It doesn't matter which wires go into which one. They're all grounds. That wire we need to strip back a little more. I don't have quite enough hanging out of that one. I don't worry about heat shrinking these because once we put them in, we give them a little spritz of the fluid film. And it'll outlast this vehicle 100%. This thing can't only have but a couple years left in it. And she'll be hitting the crusher. So we're going to take and give that a crimp right there. And you want to go through after you're done crimping them and make darn sure you give every wire a tug, you know, because the last thing you want to do is get done and then have one fall out of one of your crimps. So come on now. I'm going to use some 60/40 flux core. Just heat her up, put a little dab up there, you'll watch it suck right down in. And then I'm just going to go along these. Solder and crimp because I like to piss off both people. The solderers and the crimpers. Plus this doesn't hurt anything. Might not help anything either, but this is how I do it. We're right back to where we started. Desperate times, desperate measures, folks. I took the, where is it here? The cleany uppy tool. I can't find it now. I'd show you. Cut-off wheel on a stick. We chopped the nut off that held where the original one was, where it was busted off. And I whacked it with the air hammer. And then here's what I'm thinking. The classic nut and a bolt. I just want to make sure it's not going to be too high. And then, which I think that one might be, just want to make sure once we're up in there we can get up on it. Nut and a bolt, put it in there, then essentially we're going to have a stud sticking up from the top, in which case we can stick a nut and you know, the eyelets and stuff on. We may end up just trimming this back. We're just going to trim it back. We ain't going to win no car show, folks. Going to get a couple points off for this if we do go anyways, so. Because we want to make sure when we stack them up, they're going to be able to, you know, lay on top of each other nicely. I've got a washer here. We're going to stick right on top of that stud. I tightened the snot out of that thing, cleaned up the paint where the stud went up through. Left so much stud sticking up that no one's ever going to get the nut back off it. But I figure if we had a short one in this confined area, we're going to be fiddling trying to get everything to stay on it. So we'll go like that with one, and 2 and 3, and number 4, there we go. I just used an 8mm, your classic 8125 stud. And then we'll put a washer on it. And then if I can get the nut on here. I looked all around under the hood. There was no place more convenient than the place we already had, so I should have just done this in the beginning. And this is probably an easier DIY home hack. If you don't have a cut-off wheel or any means to get the old rusty crappy one off, just drill a new hole, just drill it right next to it. There's plenty of space down here. You could probably drill it closer to the edge of this hole to make it even easier. Let me get a 13 ratchet wrench and we'll snug her up. Alright. Make sure the bolt's tight through there. We're going to spray on the bottom of the bolt too. We don't want to get all rusty. Oh, like a tiger. So it looks good. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. Enhance. maybe, but you get the gist. Simple nut and bolt, not much to see. We can stick this back through. There, we'll go turn the lights on. Of course, they're not going to work real well without a battery. We're going to give this the old spreader rule. Get that baby back opened up. Take our light back. And let's see, let's grab the battery here and stick that back in here. There's that, like so. Hey! I don't think that this was down on the negative terminal all the way. I think that's why he had to shove the screw in there. The classic screw in the battery terminal trick. So let's see if this tightens up. Nice and tight. Oh, here come the comments. You did the negative first. Well, just don't touch anything with your wrench there, you ding dong. You'll be okay. And that one's tight. Of course, the battery's not tight because there's no holder. It's MIA. Okay, keys on, folks. Marker lights are on. Let's see. Hey, look at that. That one's fixed. Those are all on, so that's good. Fixed it. So he was right. The bulb was, ooh, gosh. The bulb was all good. And then let's do left turn. We got some flashing up there. Right turn, we got flashing. So let's do headlights. Ooh, we've got the LED upgrade. High beams, low beams. Let's turn on the four ways. And everything works as it should. Just like that. Hallelujah, your lucky guess, huh? Turn signal there. Turn signal there. We just got to check the brake lights. He is correct, no brake light. We're going to pop these little tabs out here. I think that's how these things come out. Get behind it. Of course, some ding dong stuck this one in. Wait, can you get there? There we go. So they're just giant, you know, push retainers. So we'll stick them to the side. And I think these just pull out. Hey, what do you know? What do you say? And then, of course, you've got your classic. Looks like T20. We may not have a bad bulb. We could have a bad circuit board, but we got to pull this out. Doesn't look like he's done the LED upgrade here in the back. And I don't even know. Can you call it an LED upgrade? Because I spend more time taking them out of people's cars and throwing them in the trash than I do admiring, like, wow, that actually worked well. You know, I've got some vehicles, you know, that'll be, shoot, they'll be 200,000 miles before you put the first brake light bulb in them, just regular incandescent bulb. But seems sure as heck if somebody puts all these LED garbage in their car, there are always issues. And it's probably just because they're the El Cheapos from, you know, Fleabay or Amazon or whatever. I've changed my reverse light bulbs in my pickup truck to LED because they're nice and bright. But so I'm a victim of that too. So this one here is the brake light. So let's plug it in. And I'll be the first to admit, I just bought mine off the Amazon. I get about a year or so out of them. And that's it. And then they're junk. Let's see, which one's the reverse light? That's the bottom one. I think they all take dual elements. Boom, look at that. So let's go stick that back in the reverse light and get us probably a 3157. That's probably what this is. Can't see because they don't have my readers on. Something like that. And just like that, folks, I leave you hanging. Yeah, again. The Dodge Nitro did get fixed. I have no idea where the end of the footage has gone. Perhaps it's a screw up on my end. That's about a 99.69% chance that that is true. But rest assured, I did put a brake light bulb in it and put it back together. The guy was happy. I was happy. You were going to be happy, but you didn't get a happy ending. So this is the best I can do for you. The questions, the comments, the criticisms. Don't just go chasing the ground without testing. That's a stupid move and only works 50% of the time, every time. So don't do that. Don't be like me. Be like you. And remember, folks, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.